Could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Lockdown Coverage. Your man, Louie T, breaking down every single game in the National Football League, covering the entire league like a blanket, wrapping up week 3 with a great matchup, one that I actually got to watch the end of. CBS turned from the Philadelphia Eagles-Pittsburgh Steelers game early because it was such a blowout, and they took us to this game right around the midpoint of the third quarter, so I actually had seen half of this game, but I had to go back and watch the other half of this game, and what an entertaining and thrilling game this was. Two teams fighting for position in the AFC, and you're talking about a Colts team that was fighting to stave off 0-3, and a Chargers team that easily could have been 3-0. When they look back on their season, the start to this season is going to haunt them because they could have easily been 3-0 right now. They should have won in week 1. They blew that lead. They won convincingly in week 2, and they arguably could have won and should have won in week 3 versus the Indianapolis Colts. Left some plays out there and made some mistakes that allowed the Colts to take this one, but this was a great game start to finish. Let's jump into the breakdown, but before we do, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content in 2016 and moving forward. There's a bunch of content. I cover every single team in the National Football League. There's playlists for each and every single team. Subscribe to the Louie Tee Network. Also, I'm on Twitter. @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. Go ahead and follow me there. You'll get all the updates as to when I'm posting videos. And I'll just randomly tweet as well. So follow me on Twitter. And also, I'm on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Again, more original content and some different things are going to be happening on that Facebook page as well. Some things that you can't get away with on YouTube, you can get away with it on Facebook. So follow me on Twitter and like the Facebook page. Now, with that being said, let's jump into this breakdown. Likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe for these two teams. And we'll start with the likes for the road team, that being the San Diego Chargers. San Diego Superchargers in this football game. Let's talk about the likes in the first half. Casey Hayward with another interception. He had 2 last week versus Jacksonville. Got another one in this game. Casey Hayward is making an impact in this Chargers secondary. His 3rd interception. This guy is becoming a ball hawk for this Chargers team in the secondary. Great play picking off Andrew Luck and giving the Chargers some great field position. Karan Reed with a scoop and score. And this was an impactful play. Okay, the Chargers had just turned the football over themselves. Colts got an opportunity now to get some points before the half. If they score here, this could bust this game open. Instead, the Chargers defense rises up to the occasion, makes a huge play that changes this entire game. They get pressure on Andrew Luck. They get to him. Jatavis Brown, who's in for the injured Manti Te'o, we'll talk about that a little bit later on, comes in, strips the football away from Andrew Luck. Karan Reed, a defensive lineman out of Harvard, scoops the football up, runs into the end zone, and scores a touchdown. And now it's a tied ball game at 13 apiece, instead of the Colts having a chance to take control of this ball game with either a field goal or another touchdown. So that was a huge play in the first half, giving the Chargers a chance to tie the ball game up at 13 apiece going into the halftime break. Colts first half likes. Clayton Gathers. You know who makes a difference on this Colts defense? Clayton Gathers makes a difference on this Colts defense. I thought he was impactful in the first half of this game. Probably and arguably the biggest play of the game was made by Clayton Gathers in the second half of this game, at least on the defensive side of the football, that is. And we'll talk about that play when we get there in the second half. Huge play by Gathers late in this ball game, but he made some impactful plays at the beginning of this ball game. He's physical. He's aggressive. When he's around the line of scrimmage, I think he's a great box safety that has some athleticism, can run, but you want him around the line of scrimmage. That's where he's going to do his most damage. And I thought he was impactful early in this ball game and often in this ball game. Good to see him back. He was injured a couple weeks ago. Good to see him in the lineup because he is a guy that can change the game at the safety position, and you saw that in this ball game. Adam Vinatieri, The ageless wonder. He's a Hall of Fame player, no doubt about it. And even though it didn't count in this game, he nails one from 55 yards out in this game. Now, they end up calling the Chargers for leverage, which negated the penalty, the field goal, because now that's a first down, 15 yards and a first down. The Colts wiped that 3 points off the scoreboard, and they ended up getting a touchdown off of that. But just to know that he can still bang it home from 55, and he had already knocked one home earlier in the game. This guy's amazing, man, and he never ceases to amaze me. And just what he's able to do at his age, still knocking it home from 55, it is just mind-boggling. Frank Gore, another ageless wonder out there, thought his first half was dynamic. I mean, he was breaking tackles, doing what Frank Gore does, picking his spots, getting through holes, slithering and skating and sliding, making things happen. Frank Gore still playing well at his age, and I thought he had a dynamic first half of this ball game, getting in the end zone, making guys miss, and just being Frank Gore. Just being Frank Gore. Eric Walden with a huge play, a strip, sack, forced fumble of Phillip Rivers in the red zone. Chargers were going to get something out of that possession unless it was a blocked field goal. They were going to get something, potentially a touchdown. Eric Walden with the strip, sack, forced fumble of Phillip Rivers, getting the football out and allowing the Colts to avoid giving up any points on that possession. Huge play by Eric Walden. They're looking for some plays from these guys in the front seven to get to the quarterback. Eric Walden with 2 sacks in this ball game. He stepped up, made some huge plays for this Colts defense. Let's get to the dislikes in the first half. We go back to San Diego. They had a ton of dislikes. I mean, this is why they're 1-2 on the season. Too many mistakes from the Chargers in this game. If they don't make a bunch of these mistakes, they probably walk out of Indy with a W. Instead, they leave at 1-2 on the season. Drop on third down by Tyrell Williams. This is the first possession of the game. He's open. He catches his football. It's a first down. He's going to get a couple more yards after the catch as well. Keep the drive alive. You never know what happens if you extend the drive and get a fresh set of downs. Instead, he drops the football. They got a punt on the opening possession of the game. Manti Te'o injury. Man, I said this last week. My exact words were, hopefully the Chargers don't have an impactful and catastrophic injury each and every single week to one of their core players. Because by the time we get to week 8, they won't have any core players left. Those were my exact words. They lost a core player in week 1 for the season. They turned around, they lost a core player in week 2 for the season. So week 1, you lose Keenan Allen. Week 2, you lose Danny Woodhead. Week 3, you lose Manti Te'o for the season. He is done with a torn Achilles tendon. This cannot continue for the Chargers. They can't keep losing players each week to a significant injury that requires surgery, that requires them to miss the remainder of the season. This is getting out of hand. This is the thing that crippled them last year. Injuries to key players at key positions. They mounted up, and by the time you looked up, Phillip Rivers had no idea who he was playing with. There were just a bunch of no-name guys with jerseys running around on the field calling themselves San Diego Chargers. They cannot continue to have injuries like this each and every single week. It's going to cripple them at some point, and these injuries are going to catch up with them. They lose Manti Te'o to a torn Achilles. He is done for the season. That's unfortunate. Another big injury in as many weeks for the Chargers. Leverage penalty. They had a guy try to jump over on a field goal, the 55-yarder by Adam Vinatieri. That penalty was huge because not only did it take away the 3 points that Vinatieri had knocked home, but it gave them a first down and put them in a great position to go get 7. And that's exactly what they did. They ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive. So just think about this. You're the Chargers. You lose this ball game by 4. You take a field goal off the scoreboard and you give them a chance to get 7, and they do. The difference between a field goal and a touchdown is 4. You lose the game by 4. Those are the type of plays that help you lose ball games. You can't make those type of mistakes. That's a huge blunder on the part of the Chargers, and they end up giving up an additional 4 points because of that mistake. That was a 4-point mistake, essentially. You lose the football game by 4 points. So, again, these are the type of mistakes that CUB 1-2 at the beginning of the season. instead of 3-0 like this Chargers team potentially could have been if they would have been playing better football. Rivers misses a wide open Gordon on third down. Okay, so it's a situation where the Colts challenge a spot of the ball. The officials gave the Chargers a first down on a catch that looked like it gained 9 yards to the naked eye. I didn't understand how they spotted the ball where they did. Chuck Pagano's not going for it. He challenges it. He wins. They spot the ball back about a yard shy of the first down, and the Chargers run a perfect play. It's a bootleg with Melvin Gordon wide open in the flats, and Phillip Rivers just one-hops him. Off balance, doesn't take his time, short arms it, and incomplete. And they were driving towards getting a touchdown, had to settle for a Josh Lambo field goal at that point. Had he completed that pass, they're in prime position to strike to get into the end zone. Missed opportunity there by Phillip Rivers and his Chargers offense. Then Rivers misses Dexter McCluster for a touchdown on the next drive. Wide open for a touchdown in the end zone. If he hits him, and normally Phillip Rivers doesn't miss these types of throws. That's why he's an elite quarterback. Elite quarterbacks don't miss wide open guys in the end zone. They just don't. Generally, they hit those guys and get 6. He missed him, and that was another opportunity gone by the wayside by the Chargers, and they had to settle for a field goal on that possession. That would have been 7. Again, you lose the game by 4. You swap out a 3-4-7, you're talking about a tied ball game at this point. So, again, some critical mistakes for the Chargers in this game. Rivers fumbles the football, and I talked about that already. He was stripped of the football by Eric Walden in the first half. They're in field goal range. They're going to get some points, albeit 3 or 7, we don't really know. But they're going to get something out of that possession unless they turn it over, and Phillip Rivers turned it over. Strip sack, forced fumble. Had no idea Walden was coming from the backside. He's able to get the football out. Colts are able to recover that fumble. Again, another big mistake. Changes the whole complexity of the game. Let's say they get a field goal there. At the end of the game, when they're down 4, instead of needing a touchdown, they only would have needed a field goal. It changes the whole way you approach the end of the game. So another big blunder for the Chargers in a first half that was filled with blunders and mistakes, yet the score was tied at 13, so they were right there. This game was there for the taking. You go to the dislikes for the first half for the Colts. Andrew Luck throws an interception. Casey Hayward steps in front of his offering to a rookie receiver, undrafted out of Grambling State. And great play by Casey Hayward to step in there and pick it off. Andrew Luck can't make that throw, but it was a great play by Casey Hayward as well. Andrew Luck stripped and fumbled the football. He stripped of the ball. It comes out. Jatavis Brown, like I said, they squatted up on Andrew Luck. 2 guys had him. One guy decided, hey, you got him. You're standing him up. I'm going to reach in the cookie jar and see if I can get some cookies out. And yum, yum, eat them up. Yum, yum, eat them up. Football is out on the carpet, scooped up by Karan Reed. And big play by Jatavis Brown. You get a rookie in there. Manti Te'o goes down to injury, and a rookie comes in, makes a huge play, strips the football out. Those are the types of plays that help you win ball games. That was a critical play at that juncture of the game. Again, Colts had a chance to really run away with this ball game, and they're out making plays. So that was a big play in the game at the time. And Frank Gore with a fumble. Luckily enough for the Colts, they don't lose this one. This was a big one because they had just fumbled the ball and had the scoop and score by the Chargers, where Karan Reed scoops it up and runs in for a touchdown. And now Frank Gore on the very next possession, 2 plays later, coughs it up. And luckily, Andrew Luck was paying attention. He was right there, Johnny on the spot, able to pounce on the football and get it back for the Colts. At that point, you just want to get to halftime. Now, after seeing what you just saw, there's a little bit of time left. You just want to go to halftime, and that's what the Colts ended up doing, 13-13 at the halftime break. Let's go to the second half likes for the the Chargers. Hunter Henry, rookie tight end out of Arkansas, making plays. No Antonio Gates, no OG85. So you got Hunter Henry out there, and this guy was balling out. He did have probably the biggest mistake of anybody in this game, and only reason it's the biggest mistake because the Chargers made a ton of mistakes in this game. The only reason it's the biggest one is because it was the last one. But his mistake at the end of this ball game, and give some credit to the Colts for generating that turnover to win the game. But his mistake of fumbling the football at the end was the one that you'll remember the most if you're a Chargers fan. But make no mistake about it, Hunter Henry was outstanding in this ball game, made a ton of plays to help the Chargers be in a position to try to win this game at the end. Deep ball to Benjamin. I think this is something that, just not in this game, but this is something that Chargers fans should look forward to. A healthy Travis Benjamin is a dangerous Travis Benjamin and a guy that Phillip Rivers can push the football down the field to. We saw it last week on the at home versus Jacksonville. Had a huge monster game, 6 catches, over a buck and some change, a couple of touchdowns, including a deep ball in the end zone. You saw the deep ball again in this game, late in the ball game, to give them a chance to kick the game-winning field goal, what ended up being and amounting to the go-ahead field goal, but they did not get in the end zone. You would have loved to have seen them cash that in for 7 and take a much bigger lead and put the pressure on the Colts to need a touchdown, which they ultimately got. But you'd have loved to have seen them get in the end zone there versus settling for a field goal. But another big play down the field, deep ball connection between Phillip Rivers and Travis Benjamin. That's something that I think you should look forward to as a Chargers fan, because I think there are more of those deep balls to come. His speed, Rivers' deep ball accuracy, you put those two things together, you're going to get a bunch of these big plays from these two moving forward. Also, Tyrell Williams is on my likes list. This is a guy that I've been drooling over since week 1. Really, this goes back to the preseason. I watched him in week 3 of the preseason, was thoroughly impressed with what I saw out of him. Didn't know if I would see him extensively in the regular season, but lo and behold, I have, and this guy has been nothing but impressive every time I've seen him. And he got the football quite a bit in this game. He's going to be a playmaker for them. And with Keenan Allen out for the remainder of the season, guys are going to have to step up like Tyrell Williams. And I think his role is going to expand because of that injury. Look forward for him to continue to grind and make plays for this Chargers offense. Really like what I've seen out of Tyrell Williams. Let's go to the second half likes for the Indianapolis Colts. Cromartie with a deflection on a PAT. Huge play in the game. Now, keep this in mind. The score at the time is 20-19 when he blocks this extra point, forces it all the way to the left, and it's no good. So now that gives the Colts a 1-point lead in a ball game that at the time looked like it was going to come down to the wire, and that's exactly what happened. Now, because the Colts end up scoring a touchdown late, the score is a little bit more exaggerated than what it was. This was a 2-point ball game, folks. Okay, you're talking about the Colts potentially kicking a field goal to go up 1 because of that 1 point that was missing off the scoreboard. Huge play by Antonio Cromartie coming off the edge to get a piece of that extra point and force it left. That's a huge play in the game. And I always talk about extra points and how every point is important. That's proof of it right there. That was a huge play by Antonio Cromartie to block and deflect that extra point. 4th down conversion to T.Y. Hilton. At the end of the game, the Colts needed it. 2-minute warning. They got 2 timeouts left. They don't pick this up, this game's probably over. 4th and about 7 from their own 22 or 23-yard line, somewhere in there. And T.Y. Hilton comes up with a huge catch, gets 8 on 3rd and 7. Huge play. It extends the drive. 2 plays later, he's in the end zone on a 63-yard touchdown, which is my next like. The 63-yard game-winning go-ahead score. I was actually yelling at T.Y. as he was running and racing furiously towards the end zone. Get down. Don't go in the end zone. Get down at the 1 or the 2 and allow Alvin Vinatieri to kick the game-winning field goal from there. Don't give Phillip Rivers a chance to go down and beat you. But as a player, you're not thinking about any of that stuff. You just want to get in the end zone, and that's what he did. And luckily enough for him, the defense came up with a huge stop at the end of this ball game to preserve the victory. Speaking of which, that takes me to my final like for the Colts in this game. I talked about Clayton Gathers earlier. Remember, I talked about how good he played in this game and how big of an impact he has when he plays. He made the game-winning play to secure this victory. Pokes the football out from behind. Hunter Henry makes a big catch over the middle. He's going for some extra yards after the catch. Has no idea that Clayton Gathers is behind him. He comes from behind with the bolo punch. Ball comes out. It is pounced on by Adams, your safety, game over. So, a big play. Big play by the Colts defense. This was a big play. And that's the types of plays you have to make to win ball games in this league. Let's get to the dislikes in this game. We go back to the Chargers in the second half. Block point after. I just talked about that. Okay. That's huge. Can't have your point after touchdown blocked. Simple as that. That takes a point off the scoreboard. It changes the game dramatically. It changes your game plan moving forward. You go chasing that point eventually. And so that was a huge play in the game. Pass interference on Adrian Phillips in the end zone. I actually thought this was a poor call. I actually thought that if they were going to call pass interference on somebody, they should have called it on the tight end, Swoops. He literally two-hand chucked the safety on that play. What can you do? Officials called him for holding first. If anything, it should have been a no call. But like I said, what can you do? That led to a touchdown. That was going to set up, I believe, a third down. Might have even set up a fourth down where they would have had to kick a field goal. Instead, they get first and goal from the 1. They punch it in with Robert Turbin. So that was a huge call. Didn't agree with it, though. Travis Benjamin with a drop on third down. He was open. If he catches it, it converts a third down to a first down, and he's a guy that gets yards after the catch. So, again, guys not stepping up, making plays. It was Phillip Rivers in the first half missing some throws. Tyrell Williams with the drop at the beginning of the game. Here you got Travis Benjamin with the drop on a third down that ends a drive as well. Phillip Rivers with an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after a huge throw to Travis Benjamin. This was an egregious call by the officials. So here, let me set this up for you. Phillip Rivers connects on a deep ball to Travis Benjamin down to about the 2-yard line. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch, whole 9 yards. He gets up, he takes a shot on the play. As he's getting up from the player that hit him, he says something to him, but I don't think it was anything malicious. Because we all know Phillip Rivers is a trash talker. So I think the officials assumed that because Phillip Rivers, and I think this was more of a who are you type of penalty, okay? It's a reputation type of penalty. And he said something to Josh Perry, the guy who hit him on the play, but I don't think it was anything derogatory or anything inflammatory that should have gotten him flagged. And then he says, come on. And I think that gesture got him a flag. Now, that gesture was to his teammates. Let's hurry up and get on the ball. Let's hurry up. He was telling his offensive lineman, come on, let's go down the field. I want to hurry up and change the tempo. And they throw a flag. They think he's talking trash to the lineman. So it was a poor call. It was a horrendous call. Pushes them back from the 2 all the way to the 17. That was an impactful call. They ended up having to settle for a field goal. Giving up the lead late is one of my final dislikes. You're up 22-20. You got a chance to win this football game on the defensive side of the football. You got a 4th down and 7. Got a chance to win, and you don't stop them. Then 2 plays later, you give up a 63-yard touchdown. Can't win like that. Won't win like that. That's tough. And then, of course, the final dislike is the Hunter Henry fumble. Even with the touchdown that you just gave up, you still had all of your timeouts remaining. You had plenty of time, and you got Phillip Rivers. That means you got a shot. And you were moving it down the field, and Hunter Henry fumbles the football. Like I said, never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. Simple as that. Put the ball on the ground. Go to the Colts and their dislikes for the second half. 2nd and 40. I've never seen that before in my life until Sunday. 2nd and 40. 3 straight 10-yard penalties by the Colts. Put them in 2nd and 40. I've never seen that before. Ouch. And one of those penalties was offensive pass interference on a rookie receiver named Rodgers, who caught the football down inside the 10-yard line, and you're thinking the Colts are about to go for more points, and instead they call OPI, and they knock them back 10 yards. Then you get a holding penalty on the tight end, Jack Doyle. Then you get another penalty on Jack Doyle, and next thing you know, you're in 2nd and 40. Ouch. Wow. Pressure on Andrew Luck is my final dislike. Look, man, I know the offensive line isn't going to be great. They still got work to do. I get it. I understand all of that. But damn it, man. You got to protect Andrew Luck better than this. They continue to get Andrew Luck hit consistently. Andrew Luck is the man. Okay, for anybody out there that doesn't think he's the man, just watch an Indianapolis Colts game and watch how much duress this man is under throughout the course of the game. And you tell me that Andrew Luck isn't the man. Andrew Luck is performing under intense pressure every single game. And he has to go out and complete passes with guys coming after him, staring down a gun barrel, knowing he's going to take a shot. And he has to stand in that pocket and deliver the football. His offensive line is worthless, okay? They don't protect him adequately enough at all, and it shows each and every single game, yet he still goes out and balls like he did in this game. No way. I don't want to hear anybody talk about Andrew Luck, question his toughness, or anything of the nature or sort. This guy is awesome, and his offensive line in front of him is not. And so Andrew Luck got it done yet again, despite getting his ass handed to him by the opposition because his offensive line refuses to protect him adequately enough. He's back there running around for his life like he's been since he hit this league in 2012. The banana in the tailpipe for me with the Chargers in this game is simple for me. You can't keep blowing opportunities to win games. I just find it hard to believe that this team is 1-2 right now. At worst, they should be 2-1. They really should be 3-0. Honestly speaking, the amount of mistakes made in this game, Phillip Rivers, and really my big banana in the tailpipe is Phillip Rivers missing throws down the field. He's not going to miss the types of throws he missed in this game. He's not going to miss a wide open Dexter McCluster in the end zone for a touchdown. That's not Phillip Rivers, okay? Don't expect that to happen very often. He's not going to miss an open Gordon on a third down in the flats, where if he catches this, not only is he going to get a first down, but he's going to pick up another 7 to 10, maybe 15 yards. If he makes a guy miss, he could get into the end zone. He's not going to miss that guy very often. There were mistakes made in this game that you're just not going to see from the Chargers moving forward. I refuse to believe that they're going to continue to make the type of mistakes they made in this game that helped them lose. This Chargers team, just like last year, they were in ball games and they found ways to lose instead of win. They're going to figure some things out. Let's just hope that they don't continue to have the injuries that they've had in the first 3 weeks. Losing an impact player in each of the first 3 weeks. First it was Keenan Allen, then it was Danny Woodhead, now it's Manti Te'o. That's another banana in the tailpipe right there. That they can't possibly keep losing these types of players every week. They can't be one each week. At some point it has to stop. And for the Indianapolis Colts, they got to protect Andrew Luck better. But that's really not a banana in the tailpipe because they don't protect him better. They don't. So I think really my banana in the tailpipe is that the defense is going to play this well. The defense actually didn't play bad in this game, believe it or not. Got some sacks on Phillip Rivers, forced some turnovers by Phillip Rivers. Can this defense do that moving forward? I don't know. I don't think that's who they are. This is a team that gives up 30 routinely. And to hold Phillip Rivers and company to 22 and force turnovers and actually play some solid ball, stop the run, they really made life hell for Melvin Gordon on the ground in this game defensively. I don't know if that's who the Indianapolis Colts are moving forward. That's my banana in the tailpipe. Are they really this good defensively? I'm not buying that. I don't think they're good defensively. We're going to find out, though. This was a really good performance by them on the ground or on the defensive side of the football. So that was a good defensive performance by the Indianapolis Colts. So that's going to do it for me. Week 3 in the books. Lockdown coverage. Wrapping it up. Chargers, San Diego Superchargers, and the Indianapolis Colts. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. I'm your man, Louie Tee, signing off. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good one.